Good afternoon, everyone. How are we feeling? I'm gonna shout you out. K-Born? Yes. K-Born, Regina, Miss Vivian. I am so incredibly humbled today. I'm trying not to cry. It's happened almost 3 times already. When I saw my tias coming together, when I saw my mother becoming so proud at the turnout today, I am so incredibly humbled. My name is Pierina Sánchez, and I am running for New York City Council District 14. I was born and raised in this community, and I am a proud Dominicana. And I am here today with incredible support. From members of Congress, to state leadership, to party leadership, to leaders in labor, who have come by my side and joined our community coalition. Oh my God, pero que cuando yo doy la vuelta siguen la gente. Yes! Woo! And I am so incredibly humbled by the coalition that we have been able to build. So I am Pierina Sánchez. And one of my earliest memories as a child in this neighborhood is of tenant harassment. One of my earliest memories as a child is watching my mom. Ven acá, y mi mamá. Ven acá, señora. She's eating, okay. One of my earliest memories is of watching my mother and my tias fighting for their rights. Fighting for their rights because we have dignity. We have dignity, right? Yeah. And when we're not treated right, we need to fight. When we're not treated right, we need to fight. When we're not treated right, we need to fight. When we're not treated right, we need to fight. That's right. And fight is what they did. This landlord who abused their powers, who did not provide heat, hot water repairs, they stood up and fought back. They figured it out. They don't speak English. They did it. Now se defienden ahora. But at the time, I was a young child. And 30 years later, I am who I am because of those women. Tía Irma, tía Sori, Janés, por favor, levanten las manos. Señora Flores, these women make me who I am. Their spirit is what I embody. I went to Harvard. I went to Princeton. After coming to public schools from here, the first thing I did when I graduated Harvard was what? Come right back to the neighborhood. Yes. And nobody can take away the thousands of people that I was able to help in that first job, working in the city council here. And then from there, the story goes on that I was able to work in the White House, that I was able to be a senior advisor. But just like the first job that I had coming from college, coming from Harvard University, was here in the neighborhood, just like that, can't get me off that community board. Can't get me out of those protests, right? You seen it. And so with that, I just am so incredibly humbled at the show of support here today. We're gonna win this. We're gonna win this together. And I'm gonna say a few words in Spanish, and then I'm gonna introduce some incredible supporters that I have here with us today. Saludos, mi nombre es Pierina Sánchez. Soy candidata a concejal aquí en el Distrito 14. Vengo de una familia humilde, dominicanas. Nacida y criada aquí en esta comunidad. De aquí no me saca nadie. Yo tuve muchas oportunidades en mi vida por los sacrificios que hicieron mis padres y mis tíos y mis tías. Yo quiero que levanten las manos Mercedes Flores. Ella es chiquita, pero tú. Yo quiero que levante la mano Mercedes Flores, Irma Flores, Janet, Audalicia. Aquí. Esas manitas que ustedes ven son quien yo soy. Esas mujeres son fuertes. Y yo fui criada por esas mujeres, viéndolas luchando por sus hijos y por nosotros. Y con ese orgullo de esos sacrificios que dieron esas mujeres, que dieron señores como Rafael Sánchez, yo soy quien yo soy. Yo estudié aquí en la escuela pública, tuve el privilegio de estudiar en Harvard University, también en Princeton, trabajar en la Casa Blanca, pero de esta comunidad no me saca nadie, nadie no me sacan de aquí. La primera cosa que yo hice cuando yo terminé la universidad fue venir a trabajar aquí en esta comunidad. Graduada de Harvard, y aquí fue que yo llegué. Y después de eso he seguido aquí. Y este escaño, esta meta que tenemos de ser la próxima concejal, yo digo tenemos, de que yo sea la próxima concejal, es por ese amor propio que le tenemos a esta comunidad. Así que les quiero agradecer mucho y quiero decir, cuando yo diga Pierina, ustedes dicen 20, 21. Pierina. 2021. Pierina. 2021. Pierina. 2021. Gracias. Bueno, ahora quiero introducir a varias personas que son el gran apoyo que yo he tenido en esta campaña. Primeramente, el tío, el congresista Adriano Espaillat.
Oh, bien.
Quien es un pionero. Espaillat que vamos. Espaillat que vamos. Espaillat que vamos.
Espaillat que vamos. Espaillat que vamos.
Ok, quiero introducir al congresista Adriano Espaillat, que me está brindando un gran apoyo.
Gracias.
Thank you, Pierina. I want to thank our great two, Jamal and Richie, for being here today. It's very special and very important that you're here today, and your support for this candidacy is so important to all of us. And darle la gracia a todos ustedes. Thank you all for being here today too, to share this special moment with Pierina in the opening of her office. But I also want to really take this opportunity to thank her family, because without the family support, you really can't go forward. If your family is not around you, supporting you, then the community say, why should we?
But her family has been around her, and it is perhaps one of her best assets. The fact that her mother, her father, they all work with her on a daily basis, and they're making sure that we go out there and we knock on doors and we get the message out there to the voters. This is an important race in the city of New York, because I think it is time for more women to be elected to office. I think it's important. And so, para mí fue muy fácil, porque yo decidí temprano, un año o más atrás, que yo quería apoyar candidatos jóvenes y preparados y honestos. I made the decision about a year or so back that I wanted to support young, qualified and honest candidates for city council. Entonces yo vi a Pierina y yo dije, ella es.
Yo vi a Pierina y dije, ella es.
Entonces cuando revisé
su currículum, vi que se graduó de las mejores universidades
de los Estados Unidos y dije, ella es. Y cuando entonces vi su experiencia a tan corta edad, que trabajó en la Casa Blanca y en City Hall, y trabajó para el concejal Fernando Cabrera, yo dije, ella es. Entonces cuando yo fui y vi, dije, bueno, pero si ella es tan buena, debe de tener una familia excepcional. Y conocí su madre, su padre, y hoy conozco sus tías, y digo, ella es. Entonces dije, Pierina, tú tienes que trabajar fuerte para ser concejal. Tú tienes que tocar en puerta todos los días. Y cuando toco la puerta todo el mundo la conoce. Y yo digo entonces, ¿qué? Ella es. Entonces estamos aquí para decidir que el 22 de junio necesitamos una buena representación. ¿Por qué? Porque ella es. Estamos aquí también para decidir que ella y su familia y todos nosotros necesitamos una voz fuerte. ¿Por qué? Ella es. Entonces, sin duda, el 22 de junio vamos a salir todos unidos de manos para decirle a este distrito que tiene tantas necesidades, que ha pasado tantas calamidades, que realmente tiene familias buenas y honestas, que trabajan diariamente para el bienestar de sus hijos. Todos colectivamente le vamos a decir al mundo entero que ella es. Gracias.
I don't need a mic. So the next person that I wanna introduce to you all, needs no introduction, is another Congress member who is a first-time Congress member and who is the first Afro-Latino gay man to represent us in Congress. He was an incredible council member. I know, because I was his counterpart in the mayor's office, and it was tough whenever I had a hearing with him. And I want to introduce to you all, former council member and our member of Congress here, Richie Torres.
Actually, when you made that comment, I thought of something, because I'm part of the Congressional Black Caucus, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and the LGBTQ Caucus, which means I pay more dues than any member of Congress. I will just say, intersectionality is expensive. You know, when I was elected to Congress in June and November, my perspective changed. I was no longer simply an elected official, but there was a sense in which I became a leader in the borough, or a leader in the South Bronx. And I felt like I have to do my part in raising the standard of political leadership here in the Bronx, in cultivating the next generation of leadership. And for me, there is no greater example of what is possible, of how far we can go and how high we can rise, than my friend, Pierina Sánchez. There is no race that is more important to me. There is no candidate who inspires me more. And so I'm going to do everything I can to ensure that Pierina Sánchez is in the New York City Council. When people ask me, who are the rising stars of the New York City Council in 2022 and beyond, the name I mention the most often is Pierina. Because she is an inspirational daughter of the Bronx, if there ever was one. Like, her life has been a journey from humble beginnings in the Bronx to Harvard University, to Princeton University, to the Obama White House, to City Hall, and now she's back to the Bronx. Because like a true public servant, she always returns home, and she never forgets where she come from. Even when she left the Bronx for the Obama White House, the Bronx never left her. Yes. The Bronx is core to who she is as a public servant, and it will be core to who she is as a city councilor. And nothing will fill me with greater pride than to send this wise, brilliant Latina, Afro-Latina, Afro-Dominicana to the New York City Council. I'm deeply invested in Pierina because she is a champion of affordable housing. Now, everyone tweets about affordable housing, but true public service is not measured by what you tweet. it's measured by what you do. And Pierina is a doer. Like, she has a unique combination of brain power and willpower. She has a strong heart and a strong mind. And if you mess with Pierina, it won't end well. And if you mess with her community, it definitely won't end well. Right. And no one is going to fight more vigorously for people to remain in their homes, for our community to remain intact, than Pierina Sánchez. No one is going to fight harder. You know, in the 1970s, when we were ravaged by arson and abandonment, none of you left. You stayed and rebuilt the Bronx. During COVID-19, during the worst infectious disease outbreak since the Spanish flu, none of you left. You stayed and rebuilt the Bronx. None of us went to our second homes in the Hamptons. I'm assuming none of you have second homes in the Hamptons. We stayed. And the central mission of Pierina's life is to defend the right of the people of the Bronx to stay in the home and the neighborhood that we built. And no one is going to represent greater resistance to displacement and gentrification than your future council member, than the best hope of our borough, my friend, Pierina Sánchez. So, soy puertorriqueño, pero hablo español mal. Soy el congresista Richie Torres. Pierina Sánchez será la estrella más brillante del Consejo Municipal de Nueva York. Pierina luchará para garantizar que todos los neoyorquinos tengan acceso a viviendas asequibles. El futuro This is hard. El futuro de la política de la ciudad de Nueva York tiene el nombre Pierina Sánchez. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. So vota por mi candidata favorita, el concejal municipal Pierina Sánchez.
De él en el noreste del Bronx, pero nos representa a todos en el Bronx, porque él es también, ¿cómo es el presidente del Partido Demócrata del Condado del Bronx? So now I want to introduce to you someone who is a senator who not only represents his community in the Northeast Bronx, but is also the chairman of the Bronx Democratic Party, Senator Jamal Bailey.
So now there's no pressure about the Spanish. Pero ahora yo voy a empezar en español. Mis familias son de Norte Carolina y nació en Nueva York, pero mi esposa es puertorriqueña. So a veces tenemos que hablar en español en mi casa. Y yo tengo dos hijas. Dos hijas como Pierina Sánchez. Si mis hijas van a ser como Pierina Sánchez, yo voy a ser feliz. Muy feliz. Sí. Y a veces no puedo hablar español, pero yo puedo entender. La comunidad pueden entender. ¿Y qué pueden entender? Trabajando fuerte. Trabajando duro. Trabajando para la gente en su comunidad. Pierina Sánchez. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got.
You started with this.
I had to start. I had to start. Gracias. Como la congresista, ella es. That needs to be on the new signs, ella es, because she is. We got to think about who she is and what we want her to be and how important she is to our community. Like I said, I'm a father of 2 young ladies, and if my daughters became what Pierina Sánchez would be, I'd be a very happy father. What she did, when she left home, she never left. Her heart was always in the Bronx, and she could write her ticket anywhere with a Harvard degree and a Princeton degree. She could be going somewhere making millions of dollars, but she stayed right here. She wanted to make sure that the kids in the community, about how, for some reason, somebody with 2 Ivy League degrees can't get into the Bronx High School of Science. We're going to fix that. Pierina Sánchez is going to help fix that in the New York City Council.
Yes.
We have to make sure educational opportunities are given to all people so that we can continue to do the right thing like Pierina Sánchez was able to do. It's so critical that we get good candidates, that we get young candidates, and that we get more women in government to make sure that we capture the essence of what our communities need. Ms. Flores, tomorrow, happy Mother's Day in advance. Thank you for raising an amazing young queen. Thank you for having the strength. Thank you for making sure that you put into her so she can put into our community so that at City Hall on January 1st, 2022, when you're asking who is the member of the City Council, now Congressman, I don't know how the roll call goes in the City Council. I don't know how they do it in the City Council, but in the State Senate where I get to serve, the 36th Senatorial District, they call your name. And when she says, I, presente, she's saying it on behalf, not just on herself, not just on behalf of her family, and not just on behalf of her district. But brothers and sisters, hermanos y hermanas, it's about not just tomorrow. It is about the days thereafter. It is about planting seeds under the shade which will never sit, but we still plant those trees. Because we need those trees not just to literally breathe the oxygen, but we need those trees to have the fruit to bear for the next generation. This is a candidacy that's forward thinking. It's not just about tomorrow, but the tomorrows thereafter. So when you cast your vote, you're not just casting your vote for the next 2 or the next 4 or the next 8 years. You are casting your vote for someone who will leave a lasting legacy in your lives. So I ask you, I ask us all to think about what you can do, not just for yourself, but what you can do long beyond when you're here. And when you go into the voting booth on June 22nd, and early voting before that, when you go into the voting booth, first thing you're going to do is you're going to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, because that's how we get things done in our community. But when you tell that friend to tell that friend to tell that friend, you're going to tell them who to vote for. And that's going to be Pierina Sánchez, our next city council member. Let's do it, y'all.